of the Uppspuni mill, the first mini mill in Iceland. She will tell us about her journey towards the woollen mini mill. She will discuss the possibilities in running a business in the rural areas and how to use advantages as well as disadvantages in your favour. So there'll be an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. Thank you.
So you're ready for me?
Yep, ready. Over to you.
Hello, I'm Hulda. I'm the owner of the first mini mill in Iceland. And I actually wanted to tell you something about how we started and maybe give you some advice about if you want to do something similar in where you were holding on. So, or if you want to start something like turning on a business in rural areas or having something to do at your farm. I thought that would be interesting for you to know. So let me start by telling you something about myself and who we are. This is me and my husband. I was trying to read your language yesterday, and I am always told that Icelandic is difficult, but well, I decided to write our name so that you can see it, and it's Hulda Brynjolfsdottir. And my husband's name is Tyrfingur Sveinsson, and our farm is located in Lækjartún in south of Iceland. Wait a minute, I wanted to... Is there any possibility to share the screen and still see like half of... Because I need my notes. Is that possible? Do you know? Or shall I just try to tell you everything that by memory?
Yes, I think otherwise it'd be
you just have to see all of my screen this way. Okay. We farm with sheep. I was born and brought up on a farm, and when I was little we had cows and sheep and horses, and I used to think like a horse and think of nothing but horses. And I trained horses for 15 years when I was younger, professionally, and then I went into teaching. I met my husband and we started farming on his farm in 2010, and they had sheep and few cattle for beef. And we decided to farm on with sheep and cattle. Usually in Iceland, they breed sheep for meat, but we have always used the wool because we need it here. It's so cold in this climate. So we know how to use the wool to keep us warm. And in the constant wind here in Iceland, we need it to keep us warm over the winter, and therefore we have always been using it. And there is a big commercial mill in Iceland who takes all the wool from every farmer and makes it into yarn. And they want us to breed white sheep because they want to provide the same color of yarn every year. And that way they color the white wool in brown and black and green. And but we are, well, I sometimes say that Icelanders are a little bit stubborn, and they don't always do what they're told. So we have all kinds of colors in the sheep still. And we decided to focus on all the colors. And as you can see on these lambs, this is a rare color. It's called badger-faced, and still with some flecks on it. So this is not very usual in the country. We also decided to have the cattle, meat cattle, and the cows are just outside, and they have their calves outside, and they take care of the milking, so we are not the milking farmers. And then we added some hens a few years ago, and last year we started also with goats. We have a professional shearer to come shear for us, and we shear the sheep in November, and then they're inside for the winter. It's too cold for them to be outside without the wool for the winter, so we take them inside, and we get the best wool by shearing them the same day they enter the house. It's very clean and nice wool we can work with. And then we shear them again in March. And that is mostly to have the sheep feeling comfortable and get rid of the clumps that can get on the wool instead in the fall, next year's fall wool. It would be ruined if we wouldn't do it. This picture of the dog and the wool is when we were blending we are working in my mill. I will tell you more about it in a minute. With every fleece as it comes from the sheep. So we are working with the natural colors. And we got a very big order with light gray yarn. So we put it all on the floor and we were just mixing it by hand on the floor. And the dog decided to help us. So this is just a cute picture. We have 150 sheep now. We used to have 300, but we have made them fewer because the price for meat in Iceland is very low. And the price for wool is in general very low, but we are of course making more profit from it since we are making it into yarn ourselves. So I have a flock that is technically a little bit wild, but in the lambing season, they count on me for help. And as you can see, this is a 1-year-old brown, this one here, who's staring me in the eyes, and I was just helping the lamb to find the tit to get some milk. There was no one holding her, and she was just staying there and watching me and thought, okay, you're doing something good, I will be calm. So they are kind of friends to me also. I'm telling you this also because this matters when you are trying to sell your product. People are getting, how do I explain it? They want the cuteness in it. So whenever you can tell the story that you are taking care of the animals and they are your friend and you're nice to them, they like it. And they want to know that you take good care of your animals. So the journey to the mini mill. I have always been fascinated in everything that was done in the old days, like hand spinning, making your own butter and the skyr and everything from the milk, and knitting and felting and everything. So when we started farming with sheep in 2010, I thought I wanted to do something with the wool. So I took up a course in hand spinning, and I joined a group of women. We call ourselves Spinning Sisters, and we meet every other week in the winter and just spin or knit or do some crazy stuff with wool. And we are all big fans of the wool, and we try to find new project for everything around it. So we are spinning and we are felting, knitting, weaving, dyeing, and we have had courses. We have had teachers from all over the world actually to teach us, and we have also given courses, and we have traveled abroad to learn something. Oops, sorry, my phone, I'm going to turn it off. Sorry. Sorry about that. When I started hand spinning, I started to sell it online because I sensed the interest that people wanted to buy my yarn or things that I was doing, and I opened an Etsy shop. And then when I was after a year or so in that, I was asked if I wanted to put up a mini mill. And we decided, me and my husband, that might be a good idea for us to do. And he is a mechanic and he understands machines. So we make a good team. I am interested in the wool and he is interested in machinery. So every time like everything is not working as it should in the mill, he can fix it. And yeah, and I wanted also to, like, the respect for the sheep here in Iceland is sometimes a little low. People think that it's not always wise to have them, and they think they are annoying. So the respect for the wool and the respect for the sheep are lower than I think they earn, because my opinion is that they have been keeping us alive in this country since we started living here in 874. The settlers brought the sheep with them, and they gave us the meat and the wool and the milk, and technically kept us alive here. So I think we should respect them and use everything that they give us. I think it's respect, not to throw anything away. So not only to use the meat, but also the wool and hopefully something else. And as I said, in the old days, we used the milk also, but now we are not doing that. And I think we need to learn again how to both drink it and use it as a cheese and something. And I know this sounds maybe strange to you, because I know in Europe and all over the world, they are using sheep milk for cheeses. We have not in Iceland. And there is actually a lady in the east who started last summer to milk the sheep and make ice cream. So we are starting again to get something from that product as well. Now, when we started, you just stop me if you want to ask questions, that's okay. And if there is, okay. When I was asked to put up a mini mill, I must admit I didn't know exactly what it meant. So we went online and Googled mini mills, and this is the first thing that came up, Belfast mini mills in Canada. And we contacted them and we looked further and looked for in other countries and contacted them as well. But those were the fastest to answer. The service was just great and we really liked the machinery when we looked at it. Well, my husband did, I did not know about it. So we went to Canada and took some wool with us. And we were just continuously happy with what we were experiencing. So we decided to order the machinery and they came to our farm in 1st of July, 2017 in a big container. And let me see what was next. Yes. And they were just set up in we had the house ready. We had to change it a little bit, but we had the house. So we were just technically only buying the machines. And there was a teacher coming with us with the machines. Well, not in the container, but he flew in afterwards. And he spent 5 days teaching us how to use it. And then a few months later, another one came to see if we had forgotten something and taught us some more. And from day one, we decided that we would work with the natural colors of the sheep. And you can see that we have many shades of colors. And we also wanted to think about that we would not have to make the pattern as well as the yarn from the day one. So we aimed to do the yarn fitting for some patterns that we have a lot of in Iceland. And this yarn here, which is called Hulda, is 100 meters per 50 gram, and that is the one we started with. And it's called Hulda. Well, now I have to tell you a story about my name because I said I will not name this yarn Hulda unless I tell you the story. Hulda means hidden, and I am a twin and no one knew I was coming, so I was hidden in the womb, and that's why I got the name. So I'm named after the hidden woman, and therefore this yarn is named after the hidden woman, not me. That is my story. And we also made a 3-ply yarn, which is called dvergaband, which means dwarf. And well, I actually don't have a picture of that, but this one here in the couch is tröllaband, the troll, and this is the fairy, the finest. So we have the hidden woman, the troll, the fairy, and the dwarf, and this is also the hidden woman yarn. This one here is hjónaband, which means marriage. It's the band that ties the couple together. So you see, I like to play with words because Uppspuni, the name of the mill, means to spin a tale. And it means also to spin something up. So technically it's not a lie technically, but something that you add to the story. And actually the story of my mill has been like a fairy tale or a lie. So the name Uppspuni fits perfectly. You can see the picture here show the natural colors, and there is also nature around it. And there I come again to the fact that people are looking more and more back to the nature and going to the origin. And a pretty picture in the nature is also things that are helping when you're selling. And so that's a hint to work on when you are thinking about advertising, because it's a full-time job to advertise what you're doing. Here is a picture over our machines. And we have been from day one. Well, I am actually rather lucky because we are the first one in Iceland to start the mini mill. And I got interest from day one. I was just still putting up machinery with a teacher from Canada when people came in and wanted to see what we were doing. And it has been that way since. So we have had a lot of guests, and we have had the television, the newspapers, the pioneers, the influencers on Instagram, those who are telling you what to do. famous people. Everyone has been contacting me, asking if they can make an article in the newspaper, a TV program, talk about us on the media, Facebook or somewhere. And so I have actually had free publicity. And that way I have been very, very lucky. Also, people were always asking if they could come and see what we were doing. So I decided very soon to give tours, and I charge a little fee for that, telling them about what we are doing and showing the machines, showing them in process and what we can do and how yarn is made, because people don't know so much about how many steps there really are in making yarn. You can only see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our machines, but they are 11 in the house. So there are 11 steps through the process of making yarn. Today I have 4 people working for me or with me, and I am actually mostly on the computer now, serving people like orders, putting something on the media, working on the accounts, and then tending to the shop because I have a little shop above. If you're interested in making something like this or starting your own business with a mini mill, there are a few things that are like helpful to know, and I wanted to give you some hints about what is helpful when you are like want to be known or get people to make business with you, especially when you're in a rural area. And we are not very far from the main road in Iceland. And we are in the south of Iceland, which is very close to the most popular places to visit, but still we are a little hidden. So we have to let people know about us. And I want to have people to visit me that are interested in yarn and what I am doing. I don't want those to come who are, well, of course I want everyone to come. I mean, I don't want to have a lot of people coming who are just looking around and then leaving. I want them to leave something behind, especially their money. I'm just honest about it. So we have a website, uppspuni.is, and I have to be rather active there, which I'm not. I should be more active, and I put up a web shop there, and it's good to have people being able to come and shop on the website and see some news. And I try to put in something about us there. But Facebook and Instagram are also very helpful. And I have a big group following me on Facebook and Instagram as well. And I try to put news in there every now and then. And a story always sells. Telling a story like the story about my name, it has sold a lot of yarn. I once had an elderly couple who had done their shopping and were on the way out when I told them why my name was Hulda. And they stopped and turned around and said, we have to buy this yarn as well because we have grandchildren that are twins. And one of them was not expected. So we have to, get there. Cute stories, also just what you're doing, why you're doing it. Always telling people that you're nature friendly and like we are really environmentally friendly because we don't use chemicals when we are working with our wool. And now I remember again with my yarn, of course, this is not natural color. I don't have orange sheep or blue sheep. So this is colored. Usually I color with powder, but I can also dye with plants. I wanted just to tell you also that. So I told you that I had famous people coming and influencers. And like this is Stephen West, if you don't know. He's a famous knitter and designer, and he has designed lots of patterns. And he is artistic, or he's a person you notice. You can see how he is dressed. So this is a person you notice wherever he is. And he is very active in making patterns that people like to knit from. This is Christy Glass. He's from the United States. He lives in the Netherlands, I think now, Stephen West, and she is from the States. And she also came to my mill and took an interview with me and put it on YouTube. And I had a lot of people coming and telling me, I saw you on Christy Glass show and I just wanted to come here too. So whenever there is someone famous, or even though, yeah, well, someone who is known in the business you're working in, make advantage of it. Take pictures and put it on somewhere and tell the world that they were there, and you can share those informations everywhere. There are a lot of groups on Facebook that don't allow to advertise, but telling people that Stephen West came to Uppspuni is not an advertisement for the Uppspuni, it's just news about that he was there, and then you get the word also in. So it's like you go behind the curtains to advertise. And get people to talk about you, and if they come, ask them if they could maybe take some pictures and put them everywhere and talk about you, and that is free publicity. And if you want to, like with the newspaper, the agricultural newspaper in Iceland, they came very soon, very early in my business time to talk to me, and made an article about me. And I made friends with, I got acquainted with the newspaper's man who came to talk to me. And I have sent him articles since, telling him, do you want to publish this? This is something interesting we are doing. And most of the time he says yes. So you can also do it that way. If you want to have something written about you in the newspapers, you can do it yourself and send it as a little news to someone that you may know or may not know, or just ask the editor of the magazine, is this something you would like to print about? Yeah, here are some more helpful hints. Knit along, that is like knitting something together, putting up a group, publishing a new pattern. If you know someone who makes pattern and you are selling yarn, have them making some pattern that has not been published yet, and ask if you can put it on a group and either sell the pattern or the yarn for it, and make like an event on Facebook that you're knitting together. Presents to promote your business is also very, very popular. I have not done much of that because I noticed that when people were putting up like giveaway or something, and they said you have to like and share the site, and then you might win something. I saw that there were some like these people who are always trying to ruin the spam. I don't know the word in English, I'm sorry. When they are luring you and trying to take your money away and just attack your computer. Somehow that seemed to be very popular with giveaways. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to go there. Advertisements are also a little bit not always the best. Because when you are reading a newspaper, which you hardly do anymore, you're always on the internet, you tend to turn the pages over the advertisements. You read interesting articles. And if you see a cute picture or something of a picture of something you're interested in, then you stop and start to read the article. But advertisements, well, I am that way. I turn them over. So news rather than advertisements are my hint for you. The story, as I told before, a story always sells. A good story, of course, but also sad stories or promoting stories. Just a nice story about something around helping the world is a seller. Going to introductions and shows, like now I am introducing myself to you. This is also helpful. A lot of more people will know about me today than they did yesterday because they're looking at this or listening. And actually I got a post from someone in Wales yesterday, and they are visiting me this summer with 22 people from Wales. So you see that the word is spreading. The television, I also had Arte. It's a French-German television program station who came to my place and took a long TV program about men knitting in Iceland, and they wanted to go all the way and see also how the yarn is made. So they came and took a picture or a film also there. And that has been a big help with my promoting my business. Be a little pushy, not too much, but some. Whenever I put something on Facebook and people say, wow, I would like to have that, I personally send them a message. Do you mean you want it? Because I can't sell it to you. Some of the times they say, no, I was just saying this was nice. But sometimes they say, yes, I want to buy it. And then it's a sale. So that is also like a hint that you can politely ask people to buy from you. Get others to talk about you, like I said with the famous people and the influencers and also neighbors. Be a little different. If you are making the same yarn or something like everyone else, that is probably not going to sell. So try to find something that is different from others, and work with the neighborhood. If you're many, you're stronger and you get more variety. If someone around you is doing something, talk to them and ask them if they would maybe want to do something together. In my shop, I have yarn, but I'm not only selling yarn. I am also selling like knitted products. And I knitted this shawl myself, but this sweater is knitted by a lady. I have 2 ladies knitting sweaters for me. They have retired from work and they just knit sweaters. Well, not only for me, they knit a lot. They're very fast and they do it very nicely. And so I got people to work like with their hobbies, and still they get money, and I get this sweaters made for those who want to have it. And my father-in-law, he is making something out of tree, so he has been making knitting needles, and I am selling that in my shop. And my sister-in-law is making soap from the sheep fat also. So together with this, people come into my shop and they're not only seeing yarn, they're seeing other stuff. And most of the time they find something to buy. So having more variety in your shop is an advantage to your business. A place to sit down and relax. In my world, the woman is usually the more interested person in the knitting or the yarn, so they come in the shop and look around. I just last week, I had a woman coming in and her son was with her, and he came inside, looked around, and then he went down again and outside, and his mother called after him, "Are you going?" "Yes, you will be here all of the day. I'm going into the car." So he did not have the time to wait for her. But if they're like these kids find something, or they can sit down and look at their phone. So cozy corner to sit down and relax. And like my husband is a mechanic and he fixes machinery. And a few years ago, there was an old Ford tractor waiting outside of the mill to be repaired. And many of the husbands stopped outside to look at the tractor while the woman was inside to look at the yarn. So that is also, well, if there is in the neighborhood someone who is offering riding tours, animals to pet, or something, that is also helpful. That make the place around you involved. Maybe someone is selling coffee or meals, and then you can tell people who are calling you, "Can we come to you and see your place?" Yes, you can do that. And then afterwards you can go to my neighbor and he is selling some coffee, and that is helping. And also I have been taking in students and teaching them, well, about how to do these things. And that has also been very helpful in many ways. Both your net gets bigger or larger, you connect to more people, and also you are giving away the knowledge you have, and it will not be lost. Disadvantages. Well, distances can be a problem. If you're very far from highway or town, people are sometimes saying, "Okay, it's so long, it's so far away, I might come some other day." But if you have, like I told you before, someone around you that is also interesting to visit, then people are telling themselves, "Okay, there are 2 places I'm going to visit there, it's worth the trip." To be found. The internet is very tricky. You have to be technical, and I am not technical. So a friend of mine put me on the first day almost, she put me on Google Maps. So I can be found if you put my firm into Google Maps. They guide you to my place, and that is very helpful. The GPS equipment that are put in cars, they sometimes pop up with interesting things to see around you when you're driving. That is not, we have not been able to put us in there yet, but that would be very good to have us pop up on the screen on the car when you're driving through. This is an interesting place to see. Also the search words on Google, if you put like wool or yarn on the search in Google, you have to use it on your website or on your Google business site or wherever you want to be found, so it will be popping up. And it needs to be as often as you can. So every time I put something online, I try to add in some words that are search friendly. And you have to trick the media. You have to if I share something on Facebook, I notice that very few people see it. When I put something on Facebook with a picture from myself, especially if there are some people on it, a lot of people sees it. So Facebook has decided not to show everyone what is less interesting, or if they think it should be less interesting, or someone else has put it in. So you have to trick the media. Buying like posts on Facebook has sometimes done less for me than being tricky on the media. So like taking a picture of Stephen West and putting it on Facebook, telling that he was visiting Uppspuni and buying some wool and yarn. Then you have all the three words, Uppspuni, wool and yarn, and it hits the search line in Google. So you have to be, your mind has to be fully focused on the advertisements tricks when you want to be seen. Well, I think this is what I was going to tell you. Mostly, as I said, I had it written, but I thought I could see it on my computer, so this is by memory. I thank you for your time. And as I put here on the little box there, every journey starts with one step. My journey started when I was looking at a museum in the north, and it was a museum about the industry, and I was talking to myself, looking at everything and thinking, this was probably started by one person. Maybe I can also be a one person who starts something. And that is a seed I want to plant in your mind, that everyone can do something, and every journey starts with one step. You don't have to take the jump, just walk slowly. And if you have any questions, please ask me, and you can also email me if you want to do it that way, because the email is here. I see a hand raised. Now I'm not in charge, so Nicholas Evans has raised his hand.
Yes, go ahead. Well, thanks, Hilda.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions for you, Hilda. So yeah, a great, wonderful story, wonderful success story also. The bit you sort of glossed over, I would say a bit, was the machinery part. So I wonder if you could give an idea of what kind of initial investment you kind of needed to purchase the machinery, and also maybe could you briefly say what other options you considered? So you said, yeah, you found that Belfast Mills was the best. I mean, were they basically the only ones offering this kind of small scale machinery, or did you have other options?
Well, we asked also a mill in Italy, and to tell you the truth, when they answered, we had ordered the machinery from Belfast, from Canada. So it was very slow. There are not many who are making these small kinds of machinery or mini mills. And these are very well built. They build them themselves mostly. They have, of course, parts that are made for them elsewhere. You can see here, if I'm on the machine again, this here is the washer. And when you're working with wool, you need the washer. And this is the carder. This is the same machine here from different sides. And this one here is the same machine. This is a fiber separator. It's very helpful for the Icelandic wool to have a fiber separator because we have two kinds of hair, coarse hair and fine hair. And this one here is taking away the coarser hair. It also cleans out the grass and sand. So it's very helpful with making the fiber ready for spinning. And it also cleans out when you're having goat fiber like cashmere. It takes away the coarser hair. To make yarn, you need the washer. And there is behind these machines, like we are looking at the machines here behind us would be a picker. When you're working with fine fiber, it's not necessary because it has like big pins who are working on the wool and breaking it apart, not cutting it, but it's just opening it up. And it can be harsh on like alpaca and finer fiber. We don't have alpaca in Iceland. So I would recommend that if you would look into machinery for making yarn, it would be the washer and fiber separator for those who need to clean out coarse stuff. The carder is of course necessary, and the carder is also making like a bat. You don't have to get it into rowing or slivers. It can also make a bat that you can felt from. And then there is another machine in the corner here behind this one. In my mill, every square centimeter is used. So behind this one is a draw frame, which pulling 2 and 2 together, making the rowing more even. And then this is the spinner. And it's 12 times spinning. They also make an 8-time spinner. And then they make a plier who is here behind the woman on this picture. And this one is also possible to spin with. When you're spinning yarn, you make a single and then you ply it into 2 or 3 threads together. And we ply on this one. And I would say if you only would get this one, it would be like a bottleneck because you always have to spin and then do it again and ply. And then you are just making it twice in this one and the efficiency is lower. And then we have a steamer who is relaxing the yarn. It's not on this picture. And a skein winder and a cone winder. And to make yarn, it would be necessary to have definitely the washer, the carder, the spinner, the draw frame, the plier, and the steamer. How many was that?
Can you give
5?
any indication of what initial investment is needed to set that up? Like
you mean in the price?
In the price, yeah.
Well, let me see. I want to see in my phone because I have actually the price list from them now. So I could tell you when we were buying all of these machinery and we bought 12 machines, it was 30 million Icelandic kroner. I'm going to put that into the
conversions.
Yeah, so let me wait. It would be, well, it was close to $300,000 US dollars.
Okay.
But that was all of the machinery and you don't need all of them. It's 200 euros, 215 euros. The price has gone up since then, I know, but well, maybe you don't need all of these machines just to start. And then you can add to it if you think you need some more.
Okay, great. Thanks very much.
But then a house is also necessary and a lager for the wool you need a big house for the unprocessed wool. Debbie.
Deal with the wash water and the lanolin that is washed out. Do you have special process for recovering the lanolin or?
Well, we are washing with 60 degrees Celsius, and we are only using mild lemon soap. And I have not used hand lotion since I started working with the wool, with this mill, because the lanolin is still in there. And it's just, yeah, you can feel it in the yarn, and you can feel it in the sweater.
All right, so it's still in the yarn when you finish.
Yeah,
You're washing out the dirt rather than washing out the grease. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Do you just deal with sheep's wool, or do you deal?
No, I also work with goat fiber. And we have tried few things. Actually, I have tried to spin with dog hair, and it can be done. And we have added rabbit hair to the wool, and we have added roses and milk protein to the wool. Thus, this has been made into fiber before it comes to me. And we have had seaweed. So all kinds of stuff have been worked in these machines. And silk, of course.
What kind of goats do you have? I keep fine fleeced sheep and Angora goats.
Sorry?
I keep Angora goats and some fine fleeced.
Yeah, well, these are cashmere.
All right.
There are only Icelandic breeds in Iceland. So we have the Icelandic goat and the Icelandic sheep. And the Icelandic goat is a cashmere goat.
I've never heard of Icelandic goats.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Hilda, you said that this was your farmhouse that you built it in. You just kind of did an extension, or it was kind of the outbuildings of your farm?
Well, my husband is a carpenter. No, not a carpenter. He's a mechanic. So he fixes things, and there was a house where he used to fix things and build from metal or iron. And it was too small for him, so he had moved to another part of the house, which was bigger. So there were 100 square meters place of the house unused. And for this size of machinery that we bought, they said we needed 100 square meters. And so it fitted perfectly. Okay. But we just added a loft and another, lifted the ceiling, and then we could make a little shop on the top.
Okay. And you said somebody asked if you wanted to open a mini mill. Was that just to someone in the community or a friend, or? Yeah,
well, people had been thinking about it for a few years, that someone should do this, and it would be nice if someone would do this, and but no one did. Okay. Some people had looked into it, and they thought it would not be profitable, and maybe they needed someone with them. So I would not want to do this without my husband, because he understands the machines. But of course, you can have someone around you fix things, but it's so nice to just call his name and he comes and helps you with what is going wrong. So we make an excellent team. And I don't have to understand those machines since he does. There is a question from Stephanie.
Hulda, what source of power do you use for the machinery?
It's electrical, and it's electrical for everything. And we have power plants from water in the country, and also geothermal water. So we are not very warm. It's not very hot. The water in my place, it's only 40 degrees. So we have to heat it up also in a tank.
Right. Thank you.
But they are also selling equipment, like they have this coloring or dye pot, and that is powered with propane oil. I think I got the name right.
Like propane gas, is it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Olivia. Hi.
Hi, Hulda. It's really interesting. Thank you. I was just wondering what you do with your wastewater. How do you manage
I forgot to tell you about that. Actually, this one here, the tröllaband, the troll yarn, it's made from the waste. Some of the waste is completely clean. There are 2 compartments in the fiber separator underneath. It collects what is going down. the first one is dirty. It has sand and grass in it, and I use that to take out to the fields or into places where there's not so much grass growing. And then it's I can also use it into like dog beds or something like that. But the second place is just completely clean, and I use that into making the rug yarn. It's called, we call it trellaband, and it can also be used for felting. So I try to use everything, and I try to find purpose for everything. And in the beginning, I was just thinking what kind of wool I wanted to breed, and I was trying to find the best wool. But today I am looking for a new product for every wool, so that every animal is worth the wool. I just find a different product for it.
Great. And sorry, could I, for the water from your washing, the dirty water, how do you dispose of that?
It goes through, now I need the word. It's a tank with some kind of cleaning, but it's just the dirty water is just this mild lemon soap, which is actually nature friendly, and they say we can put it out on the fields. And then it's the dirt from the wool, so it's sheep shit, and it's good for the fields actually. So it goes through the tank, it's pumped from there, the things that are not flowing, and the water, the excess water is going out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. And I need to run and get the battery for my computer. I can still hear you while I run. So please ask questions.
Yeah, does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, it's Sian Hughes here from Hope Pentrydwr. Just wondering whether or not, Hilda, you've had any experience of any felting machines? I know you can get rollers and quite large ones, but have you had any experience or used any needle felting machines, which are, you know, big industrial sized?
Belfast mini mills in Canada make a wet felter, and we bought one of those. So it's a table with what we put the wool on and then water and soap, and then we close it and it felts automatically. And that is actually very efficient, and we can make all kinds of things in there. But a few weeks ago, there is the textile center in the north of Iceland. It has put up a textile lab with machinery for textile, and they had a needle felter. So I took one item that I had made in the wet felter in my table. I took it to the north and put it through the needle felter, and it made a huge difference. Right. So I would say you can do things in either of them, but together you can do also something else. So it helps each other. They don't make a needle felter, but they have one. I mean, the Belfast mini mills in Canada, the last time I asked, they don't make needle felters, right. But I know of people in the States who do.
Lovely, thank you.
And Hilda, would you say, so are you're a busy mill, you're at capacity, it's a profitable mill?
Yes, it is. I am very, 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 very busy. The biggest thing we are doing, and I think it's also helpful to know that was something I was also going to tell you, not to focus on one thing. I make yarn from my own wool, but I also offer people to come with their wool to me, and we make it into yarn. And that is our biggest thing today. We are very busy working for others. And then we give these guided tours. We tell people about what we are doing, and we charge a little fee for that. And yeah, so that's three things: these tours, working for others, and working my own wool and selling it in the shop.
Thank you.
There's a question from Nick Bradley. You're on mute, I think, or I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, Nick, we can't hear you.
He's not muted, but there is something wrong. I can't hear him.
Yeah. Do you want to put it in the chat, Nick?
Yeah, okay. Let's wait for that. So, chat. Is it better that I stop sharing to see everything, or no, there is a chat. When did you start? I started in 2017. 1st of July 2017, the machines were plugged in and we hit play. And since then we've been practicing and working and practicing and working and doing something like inventing new things. And as they told, there was an older man who came to teach us in the second time, and he said, don't forget to have fun. And we have fun by doing something else, like making new kind of yarn or trying things, and something works, something doesn't. Well, we have many visitors, yes. Major tourist attraction, those who are interested in yarn and wool and want to see something that is different, they come to us. But those who are looking for the waterfalls and the puffins, they do not. Thank you, Nick. Olivia?
I was just wondering, how much wool do you process? Do you know by month or annually? Or?
Well, we are working every day except Saturdays. Well, I usually work also Saturdays, but we are working in the mill every weekday, Monday to Friday. And it depends on what we are doing, what the efficiency is. We make most of this Hulda band, the hidden woman yarn. And when we are doing that and everything is running, we are going up to 12 kilos a day of yarn. But we can go with this one here, which is very fine. We are doing like 2 kilos a day. And we can go up to 16 kilos. That is the biggest thing we have done in one day. But we are also just working from 8 to 4. So just adding 2 hours would make a big difference also. So it's all depending on what kind of yarn you're doing and how long hours you're working. But I would say an average of 8 to 10 kilos a day.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great. Is there any more questions? No? Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, Hulda.
Are you happy with this? Did I tell you what you wanted to know?
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hilda. Very interesting.
Well, good luck, everyone, if you are going into something like this or something else. And if you need any help, don't hesitate to email me. I like to.
Sorry, can I ask how many employees do you have running the mill on a given day?
This is, well, regarding the space, you don't have too many people around you, because then we would always be bumping into each other. But 3 people at once is a good number. And I have 4 employees, but they're not everyone all day of the week. So yeah, we are 5, me and 4 others. And then my husband when something breaks down.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for listening. It was a pleasure, and I'm very happy that I could tell you about me and hopefully help someone to get an idea of doing something themselves. Don't be afraid. I think most of the people are afraid of making mistakes. I make mistakes every day. And yeah, you will have to come and see me.
Love to.
You're very welcome when you come to Iceland.
Great. Thank you, Hilda.
Yeah.
Just so everyone else, we've just put a feedback form on there if anyone has time to fill it in, or give us any guidance on any other webinars that you think would be useful for you guys for your world journey. Great, thank you everyone.
Thank you. Bless, bless.
Bless, bless.
How do you say bless in Wales?
Hwyl fawr.
Yeah, hwyl fawr.
Hwyl wow. Yeah, that was close. Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.